And welcome to our October Fall Edition for the fourth quarter on the road for sports highlights as we do our countdown to 300 in March of 2020. It's a pleasure to be on the road once again this month as we're at Bethel High School to talk to head coach and assistant coach, brothers, Creighton and Mickey Cremenius. Good to see you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Very nice. You've coached several places, assistant, head coach at Gloucester, you're now the head coach at Bethel. You've definitely paid your dues.
Yeah, I tell you, this was an honor, just trying to do the things that Kaz has instilled in all of us. We have a lot of guys, former players on the staff, so trying to do the things right as the way he's taught us.
It's extra special, Mickey, that you're both alumni.
Oh, yeah, well, definitely. It felt good to come back to Bethel, and we've coached together for a number of years at York, so doing this together really feels good, and especially being back here at Bethel.
You mentioned Kaz, who coached here from 74 to 98, and you've got members of his staff pretty much all the way through.
Yes, sir. We have two guys, Booby Clark and Bernie West, on the 74 and 76 team. Victor Morgan's on the 76 team. Chris Stevenson, who was on the 83 team with myself. Trey Van, he and I graduated together. We have Otho Stavridge, who was a year before us. Bo Morgan. We have Mickey, of course, my brother, was a year after me. Maxie Bolton, who was on the 92 team. So we have pretty much all the decades covered.
Yes, you sure do. And, of course, Bethel's won state championships in 74 and 76 and 92, all under Coach Kaz, and Creighton and Mickey are trying to bring that flavor back. And I think the players see the pride of the former players, and that helps them with their confidence.
Oh, yeah, without doubt. And Kaz has come out to practice. He's really encouraging to the kids. It gets on us as coaches. But, the foundation of all of our coaching has been, what we've learned from Kaz. And yet them seeing us work together and kind of saying the same things really helps them better understand what those expectations are.
We joked off the air about the uniforms, but that really is consistency, and the players like to see consistency, whether it's practice, game day, uniforms, attitude, behavior.
Oh, yes. We instilled and put things back that were here when we all played. So one of the main things was putting the uniforms back and the stickers that represents the different goals that they meet academically and on the field. So,
and Mickey, you're junior year, you had a lot of talent on that team. His senior year, you played Hampton twice that year. You had yourself, Carl Watts, Rodney Howard, Dee Van, Carl Barkers. These were Division I level players.
Oh yeah, that, and we always joke about how we felt like we underachieved, of course, but that was a loaded team. We and some of us still pretty close. We still, I played in college with Rodney and Dee as well. But that was a great team right there.
Absolutely. Talking to the brothers Creighton and Mickey Cremenius at Bethel High School. My mom also taught here as well, and she was here when these two gentlemen were here at Bethel High School. And you talk about your offense and defense. Talk about what type of offense you run and what type of defense that you favor.
Well, we run a multiple set offense. It's not anything that we can't do that doesn't lend us. We try to tailor it to the skill sets of the kids, what they can do best. And teaching them football, try to put a lot of things in their hands as far as what we run, how we run it. So defensively, leave that to Mickey.
So with that said, what are the strengths and weaknesses of the team in the defense?
Of course, any defense, you're always going to be concerned about tackling and alignment. That's our big thing. But we do just switch between those two odd man, even man fronts, depending on what we're seeing, what we're playing. But, we're always concerned about tackling and alignment is our big thing.
Very nice. What about playing the ball? I mean, sometimes whether it's a kickoff or a punt return, I remember your game against Warwick where, Carl Barker's got a return for a touchdown, but then it kind of was a 10-all tie after that. How do you guys prepare for special teams? Because it seems like that can be a wild card.
Well, one of the first things that was asked was what was going to be the point of emphasis. And the point of emphasis when we were here was defense and specials. I mean, we took days with doing just specials. So those are the things that we've installed and instill in the kids. Defense and specials. That's what wins you games. That's wins championships. So
Yeah, you see a lot, Mickey, too. We did a game with Woodside where they were going for two all the time. They weren't even thinking about the extra point. But if you have a good kicker, that helps as well.
Oh yeah, always that kicking game, and then that alone, special teams alone, can be a turning point in the game. Whether special teams are good or bad, can really affect the outcome. And now with all the, we're really talking about field position too with special teams. Are they kicking it inside the 20? How much field advantage do we actually have using our specials? So yeah, we try to work on all those things.
Ideally, when you were in college, it was great that you only had to go one way. But in high school, it's always been two ways, sometimes three ways with special teams. In a perfect world, maybe a year or two down the road, would you like to see the guys just going one way, or is that unrealistic?
well, it's not unrealistic. That's our goal. And guys who are special, we have them playing on both sides, and especially like for us offensively, we rotate a lot of different guys. We guys who have different skill sets, and we try to utilize that as much as possible. But defense and specials is where they're going to predominantly be, and that's we put our best guys there.
Bethel's had so much talent over the years. I remember Walter Bailey. He could go both ways, and you remember that he was like the king of both ways.
Yeah, and we have some guys here that can go both ways. Jackson Griffin, he's a guy that goes both ways for us. So, and I think sometimes it's harder to do nowadays with certain kids. Certain kids play certain positions, and that's kind of it. But yeah, you do have special guys that can go both ways, no problem.
Are you more of a running or passing team this year?
Whatever they give us, so we can win the game.
And Mickey, it's a fine margin with win and losses. I mean, y'all been in several games already, but you win by 1 point, you win by 100, doesn't matter. But the bottom line is you only got 48 minutes, so you got to stay focused all 48 minutes.
Oh yeah, and we experienced that last week with Mitchell. That game came down to the last minutes, and we really had to play to come out there alive. So yeah, they've got to stay focused that entire time, and that's what we really preach. Carl Francis came out to talk to the guys, and he was talking about the difference in different teams, different players is their mentality and their approach. So yeah, that focus really is what we emphasize.
Cos was so disciplined. He would used to hold his sheet of paper or his laminated folder sometimes. He would wear his shirt and tie. He had his own routine, and the routine rubs off because you don't win just on game day. You win during the week as well.
Oh, yes. We've established those things and put those things back in. Also with the film study, the things that he's taught us with watching film, how to watch film. These are the things that we're now conveying to the kids and getting them accustomed to doing.
Yeah, and the routine is important. Consistency is important. But like you said, you all have to be on the same page from the coaching staff, which is a given with your coaching staff. But you don't have to worry about, well, this guy's got an edge or he's got a chip on his shoulder. It's so important that everybody is on the same page.
Yeah, and Creighton and I have coached for a number of years together. So, of course, we're on the same page and vibe. But that was part of bringing other guys back that understood and knew, the style of football that we like to play. And that Bethel needs to play. So that was real important in terms of a staff gelling, that we had guys that understood.
Now, one coach who's still there when you guys are playing is Mike Smith. Based on what you've seen the last several years, and even this year, they're off to a pretty good start this year. They're finding that way to win. I think that goes to the confidence they see with him being there day one as opposed to missing some games. Has Hampton changed any since you've been in school?
He does things a little different, but it's still Hampton High way, Mike Smith's way. And that's what lends him to be one of the greatest high school coaches in the state. So, when you have to be prepared when you play them. So, yeah, he finds a different way with the talent he has.
Everybody in your schedule is equal. Newport News, Hampton, Gloucester, Southside, it doesn't matter. But Hampton's got a little flavor. It was nice that back in the day, y'all either play them on a Saturday or when he was in school, sometimes on a Friday night as well. Would you like to see that go back to the last game of the year on a Friday night or Saturday?
Yeah, I guess that would be kind of the traditional thing. I think all the old heads, you want to see that. But the reality of that, I'm not sure. But, yeah, that would be nice to see.
How about all the different divisions in high school? Sometimes you'll see a Heritage playing, a lower division, or a Phoebus playing a lower division as opposed to Division 5, which a lot of schools are in, or 6. There wasn't that when you were in school for the most part.
No, but it also lends to have the talent that's in this area have an opportunity to play in the playoffs. You think about when we're in school, it was just one team. whoever won the district went. And you had guys that were super duper talented at the Hamptons, your Phoebuses, at your Fergusons, your Warwicks, your Minchfields, that were sitting home and never could showcase their talent on that level at that time. So it's really a benefit to be able to have various teams make the playoffs and play other teams from the other side of the water.
You know, you talk about things to do for the public, Mickey, that movies or going out to dinner. It was an event when Bethel played football when you two were in high school. You're trying to bring that back.
Yeah, and we talk about that some when we say, like, oh, that's all the people that come to the games now. But, people have so many other options now. But, yeah, it would be nice to see, the crowd come back some. And, I think the band plays a big part of that, when the band and everybody is there. So, yeah, that'd be nice to see.
All right, gentlemen, all the best. I know Bethel High School is smiling from ear to ear, and all the best to you. And for several years, we hope you stick around for several years.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that, Greg. Yeah.
The two brothers right there, Creighton and Mickey Incomenius, both who played for Bethel, and both are bringing that big-time attitude and moxie back to the Bruins. Hope you enjoyed our first segment for October show. Stay tuned.
The Telecommunications Center is an award-winning television production facility for high school students in the Newport News Public Schools. Students can learn studio, remote production, audio operation, editing, directing, and much more. Students can also earn college credit through dual enrollment. The center has graduates working for MTV, ESPN, CNN, Entertainment Tonight, and Tyler Perry Studios. If you want to jumpstart your career in broadcasting, contact your guidance counselor or call 591-4687.
Music and fine arts provide enriching experiences. They teach students that there can be more than one solution to a problem, more than one right answer, that mistakes are learning experiences and present an opportunity to be creative and flexible. The arts encourage persistence and dedication. They require sustained concentration, personal reflection involving critical analysis, and self-adjustment to reach desired goals. These are essential 21st century skills. Skills recognized as important to productive career and citizen success. Each student deserves and benefits from an arts-rich education.
Back at Bethel High School, the special interview with Nanette Gaines, the wide receivers coach at Bethel High School. Nanette, good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
How did you get involved in football?
I was actually recruited from Coach Inko. He knew a lot about my track program, came out to a couple of practices. He sent his kids out to run track outdoor season, and from there, conversation led from one thing to another. He asked me to come out originally as a strength and conditioning coach, which I still do, and then ultimately was moved into the wide receiver position.
Very nice. How do you balance football and cross country?
My cross country and track program pretty much runs itself now, so I have a lot of assistant coaches that kind of fill in when I can't be there.
Very nice. What do you enjoy the most about being the wide receivers coach, and what have you learned about it?
The wide receiver position is most of it's track-based, which is my background, so the transition was actually extremely easy. I've always wanted to actually play football when I was in high school. I wasn't allowed to because I was a girl. I tried to petition and play football, but they wouldn't let me, so it's exciting to be able to coach it now.
Well, thank you for the update, and all the best for the Bruins in 2019.
Thank you.
All right, right there, Nanette Gaines right there with the Bethel High School coaching staff as we roll on our October edition of Sports Highlights.
The Navy Junior Reserves Officer Training Corps, or NJROTC, provides military science and leadership training for high school students. Enrollment in NJROTC does not require you to pursue a military obligation after high school. If you complete 2 to 3 years in NJROTC, you can enter the military in higher grades than other enlistees. For more information, please contact your school guidance counselor or visit www.njrotc.navy.mil or www.navyjrotc.us.
Fusion Fitness with Alexis. Tune in weekdays 6:30 a.m., Mondays 7:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m., and 7:30 p.m.
And welcome back to our October edition of Sports Highlights on the Road, our countdown to 300. Very exciting in March of 2020. Hope you enjoyed our Bethel segment with the Bethel Bruins. It's now time to talk to Fabian Davis, interim head football coach at Heritage. Good to see you.
How you doing today?
6 months ago, I would have asked you the same question. You would have said?
Preparing my receivers and quarterbacks to get ready for the season.
The one thing is about football, you know that from playing Division I football, you have to be prepared from the jump.
Yeah, that's correct. So you're just preparing the guys and preparing us as coaching staff to get ready for whatever happens, and we had some things happen.
The good thing about a 10-week football season, you can overcome some early deficiencies and try to get some wins and still try to make the postseason.
Yes, that's correct. We had a little struggle with some of the things that happened with our team earlier in the season, and then with the change of Coach Massenberg moving into administration, we had to go step in as coaches and get the kids ready and focus to play the game this year.
And the good thing is you're not a stranger. You've been on the staff.
Yes, I've been here. I've been the OC for the last 5 years, so I know the kids and whatnot. So I just told them all I did was put on a different hat, but I'm the same coach.
Your voice might not have been as loud as an assistant, but it's the main voice now.
That is correct, because most of the time I was upstairs when we were talking about the games, and so the coaches heard me through the headphones, but not the kids. So now it's a little different with them hearing me on the sideline, but other than that, it's the same voice. That's the voice they hear at practice.
Tell us about Fabian Davis. You went to Wake Forest.
Yes, I went to Wake Forest. I'm from South Carolina. I went to Wake Forest. I played under Coach Groh and Coach Caldwell. I played from 99 to basically 2003, where we played in 2 bowl games, in Aloha Bowl and the Seattle Bowl.
So how was that experience?
It's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was exciting to be able to get them to a bowl game. 99 had been a bowl game for the first time in a long time, and actually this weekend we're celebrating our 20th year of going to that bowl, and then we ended up my last year going into the Seattle Bowl to play.
We're at Heritage High School in the practice field, of course, and talking to Fabian Davis. And let's talk about your offense and defense. You've had an offensive background because you've been a receiver, but you are watching the whole team, right? Offense, defense, and special teams.
That's correct. I watched the whole team, although I like Coach Wayman. He's our defensive coordinator. I kind of tell him that he's the defensive head coach. And so as we go through the defensive days, he goes over the defense, and me and him sits down afterwards. We talk about some of the adjustments we make, and then obviously as the offense, I was the offensive coordinator, so I just basically moved over everything, and I get in touch with Coach Linwood, who helps deal with the offensive line, and then Coach Ivor, who deals with the running backs. And so with that, we deal with that, and we put together an offensive game plan and a defensive game plan.
Of course, early in the month, you want to try to keep the guys on the defense off the field as much as possible. Usually the defense is ahead of the offense. But do you make a lot of halftime adjustments?
We do. It's just subtle adjustments. We try not to get our kids too much out of the element of what they know, because, you try not to give them too much. If you give them too much, then it's too much for them to handle, and they make a lot more mistakes than what they're normally used to. So we do make adjustments. We try to make the minor adjustments that they're messing up in, or that the other team is exploiting, and then we move on from there.
Well, talk about some of your teammates here and the players who the public should look out for in 2019.
We have a couple of receivers. We have Roderick Webb. We have Jalen Givens as receiver. We got Jalen Wooten as our quarterback. Other than that, we're pretty young up front, but these guys are doing real well. On our defensive end, we have Dowdy, who's getting back. We have Debo, who's getting back. Or we call him Daviante, he's getting back. And then our young guys, Roderick plays corner, as well as Givens plays safety. And so those are our guys who normally we kind of lean on the most.
Do you have a lot of players going both ways?
We did earlier this year, and then we started to have a lot of injuries and whatnot. So we've been working towards getting a lot of those guys a lot more of a break. We still got some that's going both ways, but most of the time we got guys going one way.
You know, in college, usually it was just one way. And you think about it too, Fabian, that's a lot to ask for a kid to go both ways and sometimes special teams.
That is definitely correct, especially from the lineman standpoint. You know, you got the lineman that's being laid on all game, and to have them go both ways is tough. And the skill guys normally are the guys who mostly go both ways, knowing that they also are the guys who fills in for the special teams.
Talking to Fabian Davis, interim head football coach at Heritage High School, the 2000 state champions. That sounds like a nice ring to the bell right there.
It does. It does. It's what we're going to work on it. We're going to work on. We're a work in progress right now. So.
Absolutely. I think we're all a work in progress. That's a great point, too. And talk about your coaching staff. You mentioned a few names already.
Yeah, the coaching staff has stayed the same. We got Coach Lydell, who coaches the linebackers for us. We got Coach Linwood, who coaches the offensive line. Coach Wayman, who's the defense coordinator, who coaches the defensive line. And then you got Coach Ori, who came over, and I think I want to say from Minchfield, and he coaching the DBs. We got Coach Bishop, who's our special team coach. I coach the receivers and quarterback, and Coach Ivy coaches the running backs.
It seems like that early kickoff from the first quarter, you get those jitters out of the system. It's so important, those first few possessions.
It is. It's so important to get them going. I always like to put our defense on the field first so that I can kind of talk to our offense about what's going on and let the defense set the tone of getting a stop. And when they get a stop, you know, we can turn the game around and go to the offense and put the points on the board.
You've seen the fine line as an assistant coach and now as the head coach of win and losses. That can be a very fine line.
Oh, that's a very, very thin line. Even from being upstairs, I would see it from upstairs, but now that I'm down on the field, and especially being an assistant coach and now a head coach, just seeing the momentum change, just a little bit of maybe mishaps or misconnections with the offense or defense, and how the game changes and how small of the mistakes there are, but how big the results of those mistakes are.
How do you eliminate distractions? Because kids are pulled all different directions. You're pulled in all different directions during the day, but their sanctuary is the practice and the game day.
Correct. We try to keep them just in line by, you know, giving them the rules and regulations of our team, especially when we're in a school building. Hey, guys, we want to be held to a higher standard, so we have to act like the people that are held to the higher standard, and that's just inside the building. Once we're outside the building, you know, it's football. It's focused for football, and we try to keep all distractions out. We try to keep a lot of people away from the practice field. We try to have a closed practice to make sure the guys are focused on what we're doing and not anything else that's going on the outside.
I know this is not going to happen this year, but this is a nice field here. I know in North Carolina, a lot of the kids played at their own field. How do you like playing at neutral fields? Because they are neutral.
For me, it's tough because I grew up from South Carolina and I played football in North Carolina, and I'm always used to playing football at your school so that you get the bigger fan base, and it makes it a true home field advantage. I feel like, you know, with the neutral football fields, technically you don't have really a home field advantage because it could be two Newport News public schools playing there. One's just on the visitor side, but both of it's still at home. And so, you know, I'm not used to it as much. Although I've been up here a while, I still am. My heart goes with having the field.
I think that adds anxiety too, because there's less anxiety here than probably is going on the road.
It is, and it seems like every game is on the road when you're in this, because you only have two stadiums, and then you go up to Gloucester.
What are you trying to improve on the rest of the year?
Just keeping our guys motivated and keeping them hungry for a win. I mean, right now we're 0-3, and like I said, we're a work in progress. Just keeping them motivated and keeping them on track, and we're showing and seeing a lot more improvement in what we're doing. So
it takes the whole roster too. It just is not. That's what's great about team sports. It's not just about one person. It's the line, it's the offense, the defense, special teams. Keeping that energy up too.
It is, and you have to play all three facets of the game. You can't just be good on offense and not be good on defense or special team, and vice versa. You can't be good on defense and not be good on offense and special teams, or you can't be good on offense and defense and be horrible on special teams, because all three facets helps you win the game.
Now, with football, we're kind of covered with a helmet, and you know, good and well, attitude's important. Mental attitude's very important. Basketball is easy to tell because it's only 10 to 12 guys. Can you tell from your time as an assistant, as a head coach, and even as a player, if somebody's just not right to play that day?
You can see it. You can see it in them. You can see it in their body language. You can see it in their eyes. You know, those guys might not be ready to play today, or those guys just aren't as focused as they normally are. And, you know, you kind of pull them aside and be like, hey, guys, what's going on? I need you to focus for the game. So let's get everything that's not that got you your distractions out now, so that when we time to go play, we can get you focused.
And the last thing is you save some tricks for game day. You don't show everybody everything, do you?
I haven't showed anybody nothing yet, actually. So, because we tried to keep the core of what we're doing from the transfer over from head coaches to what we're doing. And now the guys is kind of starting to pick up what we're doing. So,
as long as the opponents don't. Very good. Fabian Davis, former Wake Forest superstar, right here at Heritage High School as the interim head football coach with the Hurricanes. Hope you enjoyed our Bethel segment, our Heritage segment on the road, October, first month of the fourth quarter on our countdown to 2020. Hope you enjoyed the show. For Ray Price and Elijah Price, I'm Greg Bicaveras. We'll talk to you soon.